Hello, everybody. How are you? Okay. So I am Jeff Goff. I'm the founder of Natur Athletics. I am a Babson MBA grad. I'm a major in the Marine Corps, and I'm also a dad to 2 young children. I love playing sports with my kids, but there are no footwear options on the market that allow them to play their favorite sports safely and maintain their natural foot health. Children's athletic footwear damages them in ways that we don't often think about. It is said that you should break your shoes in, but what's really happening is that the shoes are breaking you in. That leads to a whole host of injuries that happen in children. The most damaging among them are ACL tears, because children's feet are malleable until the age of about 13 years old. That is why I created Natur Athletics, the minimalist sports shoe company. Not going? All right. We have our patent-pending Natur Motion flexible cleat plate system that will allow young athletes to gain the foot strength that they need in order to have their foot arches function at their full potential. We have created patent-pending minimalist soccer cleats and basketball sneakers. These shoes will allow children to develop feet that look like this instead of this. Children playing their favorite sports comfortably will have good long-term foot health with strength and flexibility. Our goal is to change the athletic footwear culture forever. Got some technical difficulties. Leonardo da Vinci noted that the human foot is a wonder of engineering and a work of art. I tend to agree. The human foot is evolved to run. The 3 arches of the foot are held up by muscles, and muscles only gain strength through motion. Strength is only gained through motion. Perhaps you want to be the clicker. Maybe it's a range issue. So we have our great shoes that are being created by our factory partners. We have proven our designs through 3D printing, and we also are finalizing our samples at our factory partner. Slide, please. We had recently run a Kickstarter campaign where we gained $25,000 in organic sales, and we have our shoes out with one of the foremost experts in the minimalist shoe market. Her name is Anya Jensen, who runs the website Anya's Reviews. Her son has our shoes, and they are her son's favorite shoes. And he has every single minimalist shoe that you could possibly think of, and he chooses ours to wear every single day for the past 4 months. And when he plays soccer in our shoes, after practice, he still wants to play for an hour afterwards. And if you have little kids, that is insane, because they cannot wait to get out of their cleats. Slide, please. More children than adults play sports in America. There are 41 million children in America that play field and court sports. And more children in America play field sports than court sports. If we captured just 1% of this market through our endeavor, we will have around about $50 million of year-over-year business revenue that will stream through our business, because what is great about children's athletics is that they have to come back year after year because they're always growing. Slide, please. We have a great team. We have myself, who is a logistics officer in the Marine Corps, and also I do professional logistics in the civilian world, so I'm a reservist. That's why I have a beard, if anybody just got their mind blown. And then we have our shoe designer, Christine, and she has over 10 years of experience in the children's athletic footwear industry. Then we have one of our design apprentices, Wobie Lang. He has been great with doing our 3D modeling. And then we have my brother, who does e-commerce websites for a living. So let me tell you a little bit about our journey. It started all the way back in 2015 when I was going to get deployed to Central America, and I needed to create some combat boots that would allow me to maintain my natural foot health while I was out trudging through the jungles of Central America. And so I went to a cobbler in San Diego and I created some custom combat boots that were within regulations of the United States Marine Corps. Very important stipulation right there. And then in 2019, I created a white paper and presented it to the United States Marine Corps' general officers and made it so that they could see the benefits of minimalist combat boots. I pivoted to children's athletics in 2020, started to patent my design on flexible cleats. And then in 2021, we incorporated as a business. And in 2022, we won the Fashion and Innovation Award at the Babson Beta Challenge, and then we also had our $25,000 in organic sales on our Kickstarter campaign. Slide, please. And so what we are asking for is we are asking for investors to come get on our journey with us so that we can expand our mission and our goals. Thank you very much.
Jeff,
I feel like there was like 30 seconds there that I could have taken back with.
Jeff, you did really good.
Thank you.
I want to tell you all something. For the whole time when we were doing the wind-up and Juan was talking about our great sponsors and all that stuff, Jeff was standing here on the staircase waiting to come out. Right? Wouldn't you get nervous if you had to do that? You didn't do that at all. You were fantastic. You did a really good job.
Thank you, sir.
It was good. So how are you selling these?
It's going to be direct to consumer
Right.
on our website.
Okay. So I think you've got a pretty interesting product and a pretty cool story, right? Selling a direct-to-consumer product today is really all about visual storytelling and social media, right? Like, talk about that with your company. Like, are you good at that? How do you do that?
Yes. So we have our own Instagram account, and we do a great job with outreach. If you could go to a few slides forward, there, you just cycle through maybe 4 slides through our appendices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 more, maybe 2 more. Yep. This guy right here. So that graphic right there has over 7,000 likes on Instagram, and it's been shared by podiatrists all over the world. And what is great about it is that it visually tells a story of this is how your child's foot develops throughout their life. Most people think like, oh, a foot comes out and it's just like ready-made, all good to go. Not true. Not true at all. What happens is when a baby is born, they have about 22 bones in their foot, and they have all of this cartilage in this space that has not ossified into bones. And then by the time that they're 3 years old, they have 45 bones that are going to fuse together, and then by the time that they're around about 13 years old, it all fuses together. That has blown people's minds on Instagram. And then we also make reels that explain injury mechanisms. So when it comes to ACL tears, there was a catastrophic ACL tear that happened recently with Kyler Murray, if anybody was watching that Monday Night Football game. And it was a non-contact injury. It was completely preventable. And the reason why he got into that tight spot was because of his form. And we explain it through a 1.5-minute long Instagram reel, and it's taken off like gangbusters. It got noticed by the inventor of the Bosu ball, David Weck, and he's really excited about our product as well. So more and more people are noticing the great work that we're doing, and it's not just like me talking out of my butt. It's all peer-reviewed science, right?
That's good. I can tell you have a lot of enthusiasm for the product, and it seems really cool. Right? I think that the science and technology angle is kind of interesting and like all that sort of thing. You're going to sell this to moms, to parents, right? But principally moms.
Yes.
Yeah. Like the mediums they're on are Instagram and TikTok, right? Precisely. And like, I think you should invest a ton in some really strong visual storytelling stuff that's not so much about the science. And a little more about how cool they are and how much the kids like them and the kids having fun and they don't scuff up the kitchen, and also good for their feet, right? Because like you go pretty deep into the good for your feet thing, and it's good, right? Happy kids are going to go viral a little better, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, but like it seems good. Are you selling them now? Have you sold anything?
No, we're not selling them now. They're not live on our site right now. No.
I guess I'd like to learn a little bit more about what distinguishes the technology from a potential competitor like a Nike or somebody with enormous resources?
Time, and it's one that is asked to me every single time. Thank you for being the one. Thank you for being the one, sir. All right. So why does Nike and Adidas and nobody else do this? Because it goes against their value prop. It goes directly against their value prop. If they tried to do this, they would have to invalidate every single other product that they make in their whole entire catalog. They'd have to retool all their lines. They'd have to bin everything that they do because their whole entire ethos is we want to have you outsource your strength to our products. Your feet are inherently broken, and we are going to make it so that your feet never have to function ever again. What that does is that is a self-fulfilling prophecy when they say your feet are broken. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you get put into support, it's clinically proven that what happens is that the muscles of the feet atrophy, then you have more and more degeneration of the joints and bones and the whole entire movement system, and it creates all these preventable non-contact injuries, right? They don't say that, and they're never going to say that. And that is why we are so much different than them.
Well, to follow that, what is the design distinction that you make? We talk about minimalist shoes, we talk about other things. I mean, there's natural, running shoes and things of that nature. Yeah. So what is the design distinction that you're making that defers all these potential injuries and things?
Perfect. Okay, so specifically with cleats, like I'm wearing right here, we have flexible cleats, right? And so what we have here is we have a flexible cleat plate system where it allows it, if you could go way back in time, just find the one that only shows the cleat plates while I'm talking, please. What we have is we have plates that make it so that it distributes the pressure of the studs, but then the whole entire rest of it is flexible. So you have the plates that distribute the pressure underneath the studs that makes it so it's comfortable for the wearer, right? But it also gives you the motion necessary for the joints of the foot so that the muscles of the foot can gain strength and function. Because as I stated before, your arches are held up by muscle. The second that you put an orthotic in them or support or what have you that turns off, atrophies the muscles of that foot and makes it so that you have all these movement dysfunctions that are just kind of getting set in stone. And it's been proven through not just clinical studies, but also through archaeological records where you look at history of, there was recently a study of looking at English farmers versus English gentry, right? And the footwear that they were wearing at the time. And the English farmers, they had wide toe box shoes, and sometimes they were going barefoot, and they had like almost no incidence of bunions. Whereas the people that had these extremely pointy shoes that were fashionable at the time, almost all of them had bunions. And almost all of them had incidences of falls later in life that led to their deaths, right? That you could see in the bone records. So it's not just currently we can see what the problems are, but we can also see archaeologically, it's very easy to see that the footwear is the problem.
Hey, I'm going to ask the audience if they have a question or two, but I want to tell you one thing about like your presentation. It was great. When you talk to professional investors, they've heard thousands of presentations, right? And when an entrepreneur says, if I can just get 1% of this big market, look at my company, right? That's not a great tactic to use. Okay. And here's why, because like getting 1% of a market is extraordinarily hard. And you're incredibly unlikely to get that done, right? It's really challenging. And it lends a sense of kind of unreality to what you're doing, okay, right? And so like I would really steer clear of that trope. I don't think that's effective. I know what you're trying to accomplish, but yeah, I don't think it works. Did anybody in the audience want to say something? Who's got a question for Jeff? Yeah, there you go. Start in the back.
Uh-oh. You raised your hand. I mean, you did. Right?
So, do you see a big difference between people who say are flat-footed versus high-arches? Like, is that a challenge that's...
Yes, yes.
The question from the audience was flat-footed versus high-arches.
Yeah.
So if you take surveys of populations that have worn footwear versus surveys of populations that have never had footwear introduced into them, flat-footedness is much higher in the footwear population versus the non-footwear population. The reason behind that, as I've explained, is because the shoes take away the work from the muscles, especially shoes as they are currently formulated with arch support. And so that creates that flat-footedness. When you put a person into minimalist shoes, it has been clinically proven that the foot muscles gain strength within as little as 12 weeks, right? And that sets you back on the course towards correcting your feet and making it so that you can have the strong high arches that you want, correcting navicular drop, right? And especially, it's kind of like hypercharged when you combine that with glute medius activation. So when you have more activation of your high butt muscle, high side butt muscle right here, that creates kind of like a bow effect where it creates external rotation and brings up your arch, right? So you have the grounding of your foot making the contraction of the muscles, bringing up the arch, but then you also have that good external rotation that stabilizes the knee, right? And that's what's crazy about like prophylactic bracing that happens in athletics, is that when you have prophylactic bracing, it has been proven to show that it deactivates the muscles not only of the leg, but also of the butt. And so it creates this deactivating of every single thing that creates that stabilization, that external rotation, and it creates internal rotation. And internal rotation inside the system will create knee tears every single time.
Okay,
Before we let him off, I want to ask the group a favor. Everybody raise your hand. Everybody raise your hand. Okay, leave your hand up if you like Jeff, right? Leave your hand up if you think his product is interesting, right? Now leave your hand up. Put your hand down if he lost you just now when he was talking through all that stuff. Dude, like, I love your passion for this thing, right? We all do, but it's a lot for us, right? Okay. And so it's a cool, fun shoes for kids so that they don't hurt themselves, right? That if you can dial back to that, I think more people will get on the bus.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, you bet.